Hi guys, it's Christina from Redefine Creative, and I am back for another episode of Spiegel Mom Scraps. And this week at Spiegel Mom Scraps, the theme is hand stitching, which if you know me or you know anything about my channel, you know that I absolutely adore hand stitching. So I am going to be recreating this huge mermaid tail to kind of be a major design element in the middle of my page. So I've taken two different pattern papers. The small one with the stripes is from the 6x6 paper pad from the Pink Paisley Summer Lights collection. And then the bigger one is also from that same collection. So I have kind of a brighter tail and then like fin section and then a little bit more muted body. And so what I'm going to do is I just use the sketch basically off of the computer to put all of those pieces together, and then I decided to stitch them kind of by color. So the top is turquoise, the middle is pink, and then the bottom is kind of purplish. And then I did the stitching on the tail in white. And I did all of that stitching off camera because if you have ever hand stitched, you know that does take a little bit of time. So miraculously, through the magic that is YouTube, I have this beautifully hand stitched mermaid tail completely ready for you to go in seconds. And so I've taken a pattern paper from that same exact collection and mounted my white cardstock onto it, leaving just a little bit of a border around the outside. And that was the pattern paper that looked kind of like water. And now I'm tracing around where I know I want my mermaid tail to be so that I have a little bit of an outline. Because I want to use these Distress Oxide inks to kind of create a halo that's going to go behind this area. So this is my first time playing with these Distress Oxide inks, and I am like absolutely in love with them. I need all of the colors now. They create such a cool look really easily. So what I wanted to do was kind of create a layered look where I have three different colors that kind of blend into each other. And so I'm following around that outline of where I know my mermaid tail is going to go. Because like I said, I kind of want this to be like a halo behind that image. And so I'm starting at the top with Cracked Pistachio. And then the second layer down is going to be Peacock Feathers, which is like a darker turquoise color. And then at the very bottom, I'm going to use Broken China, and that's like a lighter blue color. And I am going to spend a little bit of time here making sure that I have good coverage and you can't see all of like the circle marks from the way that I'm applying the ink, anything like that. So I am going to spend some time with my blending tool here, kind of blending everything together, layering some additional color. I really want to make sure that I've created kind of a seamless look back here. So if you notice, I'm not using any water at this point. All I'm doing is adding my ink. So I am just putting my ink right on that blending tool and right onto my background. And then I'm going to go ahead and check it here in a second. So you can see I'm adding some extra of the other colors kind of blend everything together. I am going to check it against my mermaid tail here in a second because right now it looks like a crazy happy mess. But once those pieces are in place, I'm actually, I'm pretty happy with how that's looking, except there's a little area there in the tail that I want to cover up. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take water from my spray bottle, and I'm just going to flick it onto that area of my layout. So I'm just using it on my fingertips, little water splashes throughout that entire thing. What this is going to do is it's going to activate that oxidizing property of this ink and make it basically look like water droplets or water in the background, which is exactly the look that I wanted. It's what I was going for. And once that is totally dried, I'm taking my Pink Stilettos colorings from Shimmers, and I'm just taking that mist and adding some splatters. And so now I've kind of put that aside because I want that to be able to dry. And I've backed my two different photos with white cardstock, and then I'm also going to back them with this kind of turquoise paper that has these little white seahorses on it. And then I'm going to grab this really bright pink, and this was a piece that was left over from where I cut out my mermaid tail. And I'm going to use one little strip of that on each of my photos, so one on the left and one on the right, because I know they're going to go on opposite sides of the layout. And these are just two different photos of my daughter. She had gotten a mermaid tail. It was something that she really, 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 really wanted. And so when we had moved into a new house, we surprised her with a mermaid bedroom. And then we also had this big wrapped box sitting on her bed that was this mermaid tail that she really, really wanted. So this is just some pictures her and I did one day when she was out playing at the pool in her mermaid tail. So I've gone ahead and taken that upper corner on the left, and I have done something you guys have seen me do recently in videos a few times, where I flip over a corner and then I fill it up with embellishments. So I flipped over just a tiny edge and I filled it up with some of the die cuts from the Summer Lights collection. And then I'm using the chipboard down here on the bottom to create my title. So I've added a wave at the bottom, and then my title is actually going to be The Ocean is Calling. And then I've nestled in this little seahorse, and then I'm going to get this starfish in there as well. And those are going to kind of all be nestled in there together to create a little title element. So you don't have to always go with, you know, crazy titles that you create on your own, or hand stitched titles, or thickers, or combinations of thickers. Sometimes when you have a page where you've put a lot of work into certain elements that you want to stand out and be the focal point, the title can be something as simple as a piece of chipboard or a sticker phrase, something like that. So it doesn't always have to be, you know, the most crazy out there title. I did go back and add 2 of those little phrase stickers, one to each photo. The one on top says "The dream is real," and then the bottom one just says "More summer." And then I'm grabbing my sequins. And to me, the sequins kind of make the detail on this layout. So it really adds that pop to make things different. So it takes a page that looked okay as it was and really kind of gives it a wow factor. And so in order to do that, I pulled out 4 different sets of sequins. Just because I didn't pull out the traditional colors of this kit, I'm using such a more limited color palette that I couldn't necessarily use the sequins that go with this particular kit. So right now you see me using Ferris Wheel, which gives me kind of this turquoise-ish color, or a turquoise-ish blue. And then I'm going with Sparkle Power. And this one is really cool because these are kind of iridescent see-through sequins, the bigger ones are, so I'm just pulling out the ones I want. But the cool thing about them is I'm using them as kind of bubbles in my watery background, and they take the color of whatever ink I have behind them. So they look totally different throughout the layout based on what color blue ink I used. And that's really cool because it really makes them look like bubbles in the water that are kind of made to change with the changing color of the water itself. So that really complemented that look I was going for. Then I've gone ahead and pulled out the Sweet Summer Vibes, and that's where I'm getting this like purplish color from, this darker. And then I also pulled out Pink Parade, and this is where I'm getting the lighter pink from. So I kind of had to be careful with which sequins I use from which collections, and I do that a lot where I kind of mix my own because I don't necessarily take all of the colors of a certain collection and put them together. And that is going to do it for this layout. So please leave me a comment down below. Tell me whether you are a hand stitching fan or whether you absolutely hate it. And I would love to see you take the challenge this week and challenge yourself to create something with hand stitching. Please do make sure that you leave me that comment about your hand stitching. I would love it if you would take a second to click the like button and subscribe. And if you would also come and check me out on Instagram, that would be fantastic. I like to hang out with you guys over there too. And I'll see you again soon. Bye.